Nitin Soni, Senior Director at Fitch Ratings, and Balaji Subramanian, Vice President of Research at IIFL Securities, joins in. Nitin, I'll start with you on this one. What does this hike imply? Since it's not across the plans, but it's a strong move nevertheless. You've had Bharti come in this morning with a 10 to 21% hike. Jio, of course, went and hiked 12 to 25%. This is significant because, one, while the market was expecting a tariff hike, the quantum is much higher than expected.
Yeah, thanks for having me on the show. So we rate Reliance at BBB flat stable on the foreign currency IDR, and local currency IDR is BBB plus stable. I think this is definitely credit positive because we have been expecting that headline tariff hike will be coming in the market. And now the top two telcos, Reliance Jio and Bharti, have deployed significant sum of money on the 5G expansion. So it was imminent that such a headline tariff hike will be announced anytime soon. So this is a welcome step, and we do expect their average revenue per user to increase by 15 to 20% on a year-on-year basis in the next 12 months with this tariff hike, and also along with the fact that a lot of consumers are moving to higher data plans. They are consuming more data. India is anyway one of the highest market where the data consumption is very high compared to other regions. And as I think one of your colleague was telling, I think Vodafone Idea needs the tariff hikes the most in this situation because they have been struggling to pay their the spectrum dues and the payments to the tower companies. So I think it will be a matter of time that they will announce similar tariff hikes. And I would also say that we will expect more tariff raises, I think, in the future, because Bharti's management have been quite vocal. They have been publicly saying that they want to see the average revenue per user at ₹300, and they need higher headline tariff definitely to monetize the large 5G investments.
Okay. Well, Balaji Subramanian is also with us. And Balaji, just take a moment and tell us that is this the first of the many that you believe because of hikes that could have come in? Because just the fact that spectrum auction was muted, there is Jio which is leading this price hike, which means that maybe competitive intensity is now being given less importance versus monetization. Does this mean that it could be first of the many hikes over the next 24 months? And does that therefore augur well for the earnings and balance sheets of the telcos?
Good morning. Thanks for having me on the show. I would say that, to call it, first of many hikes over a 24-month period would be probably, stretching it a little too far. But frankly, what I think is that one can probably have a similar sized tariff increase, maybe 12 to 18 months down the line. And, if that also materializes, then Bharti Airtel should be able to achieve the 300 rupee medium-term ARPU target that they have been talking for many years now. Of course, as far as the need for the tariff hikes was concerned, of course, we hadn't seen any outright across the board tariff increases since December 2021, so in a way it was highly overdue, considering the fact that the telcos spent big on 5G spectrum in the 2022 auctions, and let us not forget that at some point Reliance will also have to provide an exit for the investors in Jio platforms through an IPO. So all of those considerations were there in mind. And if you look at the return ratio, even the profitable telcos like Jio and Bharti Airtel make today at current tariffs, they are in high single digits. So, I would expect, it was just a matter of time before this tariff hike happened. And, maybe we will have one more significant tariff hike in the next 12 to 18 months.
That's some time away. Nitin, would your assessment be, I don't know if you have an assessment on when can the price hikes happen, but with an assumption that this one has happened and there could be another one anywhere between the next month to the next 24 months, what does it do per se to how you view the strength of the franchise of any of these? Because, we know Vodafone is kind of coming out of the blinkers, if you will, but with some serious fund infusion, talk of some debt being raised as well, and banks being open to doing that too. How do you view this whole piece then?
No, I think, see, we have come a long way in terms of the industry consolidation. We used to have over 10 operators. Now we have 2+1. And the two being are very strong. They have a very strong balance sheet. Vodafone Idea is struggling. So they have all the motives to, and they intend to drive prices higher. They have invested substantial sum of money in the 4G spectrum and the 5G spectrum in 2022. So they need to monetize all these large investments and generate a decent return on investment for their investors. So it's tough to say when the next hike will come, but I think our view is that it will surely come, whether it's coming in 12 months, 18 months, or 24 months. If you look at the behavior of these telcos, the previous tariff hikes were mostly led by either Bharti or Vodafone Idea, but I think this is a pleasant surprise. I would say that this time it is led by Reliance Jio, which, since its inception has been playing the role of expanding the market with higher data consumption, keeping the prices lower. But I think now clearly with this action, you can say that Reliance Jio they also want to monetize their large investments and expand their EBITDA margins and expand their revenue growth. So I think it's a very welcome move, and probably the next one could happen in the next 12 to 24 months.
Right. Balaji, what do you feel? I mean, do you think this is reading the signs here? Because like Nitin also indicated, up until now, it was either Bharti or Vodafone taking a lead in terms of a price hike. Reliance was so focused on increasing market share. It was the third player for whatever it's worth. From this action, it very much seems like the leadership now is with Jio. Would you agree? And keeping that in mind, how would you approach the stocks of these telecos?
See, I would think that, typically what happens in most markets is that the leader is the one who takes tariff hikes. In India, I know since Reliance Jio was in market share gain mode for the initial 5-year period, Bharti or Vodafone Idea ended up playing the role of the leader when it comes to initiating tariff hikes. But now Reliance Jio has become a mature market leader, and they are still seeing market share gains, but they are more or less in a mature phase. So I think it is just right that the market share leader goes ahead and takes tariff hikes. So to that extent, it's a positive that Reliance Jio is kind of leading the way. As far as the stock price performance is concerned, I think the stocks have fallen a little bit today because of the profit booking that must have happened, because at the end of the day, the kind of tariff hikes which we have seen were largely in line with what the street was expecting. So it was not like, there was a positive surprise here. This has been anticipated for quite some time, and the increase is almost exactly in line with what most investors had in mind. So going ahead, I think at least the near-term gains of the telco stocks, especially, would be capped, because the run-up has been quite healthy in the last 3-4 months. In the space, I would think Indus Towers could still offer some value, because one, it will gain from Vodafone Idea's fundraise and 4G rollout, and two, once Bharti is done with its rural 4G rollout, Indus's FCF will improve, which in turn will result in dividend payouts getting resumed. So at this point, I would probably play this. I would see Indus as the best proxy to play the improving industry structure from a stock perspective.
Just before we wrap up, Balaji, a word on Indus, because the indirect beneficiary out there, what's the view?
So that's what I said. So it will.
Sorry if I missed it. Yeah.
Yeah, so it will benefit from Vodafone Idea's 4G rollouts, and two, as the FCF improves, the dividend also would be reinstated, because in the last couple of years, Indus had suspended paying dividends because of Vodafone Idea's troubles, and also because of the elevated capex that they were doing because of Bharti's 4G rural rollout. Now, with both these things behind, the dividend payouts should resume maybe in the next 6 to 9 months. So, we have a 6 to 7% dividend yield as well as a 7-8% stock price appreciation potential.
Okay, dividend yield appreciation, Indus Towers features in that list, and a dip today due to profit booking, but otherwise Balaji seems constructive. Balaji, thanks for joining in and giving us that perspective. Really appreciate your time. Nitin, we are out of time completely. We have HM Bangur of Shree Cement waiting, but just one quick question, Nitin, to you. What is it that you are watching out for next when you analyzed what telcos are doing? 60 seconds, Nitin, please.
I think the next leg of growth is definitely going to come from the 5G adoption. So that is the metrics we need to watch out for, that how many consumers are moving from 4G to 5G. And that is the next leg of, the driving factor for the data consumption. We are already sitting at over 20 GB per month per subscriber data consumption. But that can lead to much higher if the 5G adoption is much faster. And that will be, also driven by the ecosystem, the number of apps we have, and the number of the data streaming, all the worlds of Netflix and video streaming. I think more and more that will drive the higher data consumption.
Right. Thank you, gentlemen. Great talking to both of you and thanks for giving us that perspective, that much needed perspective, actually, what this tariff hike really means for the sector, ARPUs, and the balance sheets of the individual companies.